Last video on this topic was going to be the last time that I wanted to talk about this, but this Kephrii guy has stooped so low, lower than I ever thought he would go. And he has just made this issue between us so much more personal than it ever was. Kephrii actually made an apology where he claimed to take accountability for being super toxic on the internet for close to 10 years. And I actually, even though I didn't think the apology was genuine, which I said in my last video, I wished him the best. I said, I really hope, you do well. I'm rooting for you. And yeah, I thought that was that. He then DM'd me and he actually apologized to me specifically. Now, at first, I really appreciated this gesture because he already released like a blanket apology that could have applied to me too, but he actually directly apologized to me. And I like really, really liked that, right? It shows emotional maturity from his end. And I just thought that from here, I was like, yeah, we're going to be on at least, good terms, at least. At least we don't have any issues with us. But soon we're going to get to the part where he heavily implies that I'm transphobic and he live streamed this entire DM conversation. Yes, I am serious. So he messages me at 11 a.m. on April 26th, which is today, but I don't know if I'm going to finish the rest of this recording tomorrow. But he said, I'll keep it short. I appreciate the genuine efforts to help me grow as a person. I am sorry for being a douchebag to you. You didn't deserve that. We had never interacted before and you didn't deserve a hard time from me. Sorry for being a C word. Have a good one. I was like, awesome. I thought that was that. But of course, there's a but. On a side note, this timing isn't very great, and I don't mean this at all as a means to deflect attention away from my own issues by any means. I apologize if it comes across that way. At this point, my eyebrow is raised, but depending on what he said, I'm like, all right, cool. I'll address whatever you want me to address. He said, in your first video, you referred to Ashlyn as they, them the entire time, which I had no issue with. Keep in mind that Ashlyn was the person who was queued with Kephrii when he decided to be a baby and throw the rank game for our entire lobby because I switched characters. And not only did she go ahead and co-sign everything that Kephrii did in that game, but she also later defended him in my comment section saying something along the lines of, we lost that game because there was a game sense issue among many players. Not because, my friend, as you can see right here, is sitting there and typing insults rapidly at you and refusing to play the game and even saying that he's validated in throwing. No, it's because we had a game sense issue. And then she actually defended him again and said, he was just tilted. That's normal. Yep. Typing insults at base and refusing to play the game while being an established content creator, that's totally normal, right? Yeah, sure, buddy. Copomania right there. Some of my viewers thought you were avoiding her pronouns on purpose, and I defended you and I gave you benefit of the doubt. I explained you likely just didn't know who Ashlyn was and defaulted to they, them to not offend her. That is absolutely correct. How the hell would I know anything about your friend? I only know them as somebody who was in a video game with you. They were in a video game with you and they falsely defended you and enabled your toxic behavior. What else could I possibly know about them? Do you think I did a deep dive research on their whole life after that? No, I just said that they should have been enabling your behavior. I now know that she prefers to be referred to as she, her. Like, I'm just saying they because I don't know like how they identify. The name Ashlyn, yes, it does sound normally feminine, but I know people in real life who are named Ashley, which is normally a pretty feminine name, and they're dudes. And I know women who are named Joe, which is genuinely a more masculine name, and they're a girl. I don't know anything about your friend, so I'm just saying they, as in like if you just told me right now, my friend went to the store and got mad at the manager. And then I would reply and say, oh, what did they get mad about? Because I don't know if your friend is a guy or a girl. It's the same thing, and they're blowing this out of proportion. Wait till you guys read the rest of this. My discomfort comes from watching your latest video, though, about my apology. At 14:52, when you went to speak about my friend Ashlyn, you mentioned how they went into your comment section. So I was about to say she, and then I said they instead. Before we read the rest of this, let's go listen to what I said so we have all the context. Ashlyn, I know you're probably going to watch this video. You need to take some accountability for enabling the behavior of somebody who was being a genuine horrible person. They went into my comment section and essentially blamed me for that whole interaction. So if you heard right there, I was about to say she, but then I said they. The reason I was about to say she, because as I just explained, the name Ashlyn is typically more feminine. Like it's usually girls who have that name, right? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, actually, I don't know if this is actually a guy or a girl. So I switched it from she to they. And you guys are mad about that. It is unbelievable the reaching that this guy and his toxic community does to try to justify his bad behavior. Is that at all what my video is about? My video is talking about Kephree's horrible, toxic behavior where multiple people have made videos talking about how much of a prick he is. As I mentioned in my last video, Super TF made his video, Flats made his video where a big chunk of it was Kephrii being a douche. This dude made a whole proper exposed video on you 2 years ago, and there's so much personal shit in that video that he said that I haven't even brought up because I know it's irrelevant to what we're talking about. So the fact that you refuse to acknowledge that the point of my video is literally just me saying, hey, you have been horrible to people on the internet, you should stop doing that, and hey, also to your friend, instead of blindly defending your friend when they're clearly in the wrong, make sure you're actually objective about situations and only defend your friends when they're actually worth defending. And what you guys took away from that is you were trying to offend my friend over here by calling them they when they prefer to be called she. How the fuck would I know that? How on planet Earth would I know that? The only reason I even mentioned your friend is because she inserted herself in my comment section saying that I'm essentially in the wrong and that you were just tilted that day. That's the only reason I brought her up, to say, hey, stop enabling your friend's shitty behavior. And you guys have turned this into me being transphobic. You guys should all go into boxing because the level of reach you guys have is crazy. You guys got John Jones level reach. You started with her correct pronouns but decided to change them in real time. It just really made me uncomfortable, and I wanted to bring it to your attention to avoid any possible misunderstandings moving forward for yourself or others. So despite the fact that I thought this message was absolutely ridiculous, I didn't want there to be any sort of bad blood between us, and I didn't want them to be walking away with the idea that I am transphobic, which is absolutely ridiculous. I hope I worded this right. My apologies for the bad timing. Again, I didn't mean to detract from my issues and what I need to be doing on my end. And again, even though I find this ridiculous, I didn't mind having this conversation with him because I thought this conversation was going to be private. But as I said earlier in the video, and as I will prove here in a little bit, this fucking snake went and live streamed our whole conversation and was showing my messages, making sure his chat could help him decide if his messages are good. He can't just talk to me one-on-one. It has to be live stream. But anyway, so I say, hey man, thanks for reaching out. Honestly, I don't know anything about your friend at all. So I just refer to them as they to be gender neutral, in the same way if I didn't know how you identified, I would just call you they to be gender neutral. By the way, they later bring up, why do you call Kephrii a he, but you're afraid to call Ashlyn a she? I'm more inclined to believe that you're a he because I can clearly see that you have more masculine features. Bro, you got facial hair and you're clearly like a dude, you know what I mean? Of course, I'm referring to you as a guy because I've seen your face. I know what you look like. And you have never at all specified in any of the content I've ever seen with you, and I've been having to watch a lot of it recently because you just can't shut up about me, that you preferred otherwise. Now, your friend who is just casually in a game with you, the fact that you expect me to know how she identifies is fucking asinine. And again, all you guys are trying to do, which is the very thing that you said that you weren't trying to do, is detract from the issue that we have, which is you are a jerk. There is a reason you can't get along with anybody in these communities. There's a reason why everybody hates you in Overwatch and in Marvel Rivals. In the 2 videos I made about you, I was so nice to you. I gave you the benefit of the doubt every single time. I never brought up any of the horrible personal things that you have done in your life, which I'm still not going to bring up. And all you have returned me with is essentially just backstabbing me, showing our DM conversation on a live stream, heavily implying that I'm a transphobe. Why? Because I called you out on your shitty behavior? Really, dude? Is this how low we're going now, where you're like attempting to like cancel me? Because I said you were being a douche in a video game? Like, man, you are going lower than I ever thought you would go, man. So yeah, I was just like, dude, I don't know anything about your friends, so I'm just saying they because I don't know how they identify or if they're a guy or a girl. I don't know anything about them. And so I say, regardless, I appreciate the fact that you actually were mature enough to take accountability. I hope in the future you can use your platform to spread positivity. Take care. So again, I'm trying to take the mature route here, but nope, it's not over for him. I thought you were using they, them to remain neutral as well, which is why I defended the first video when people brought it to my attention. But in the second video, you actively started using the word she and immediately stopped yourself and transitioned to the word they. And again, as I explained, the only reason I did that is because in my head, I'm remembering that this person's name is Ashlyn. And again, I know that that's more of a feminine name. So just naturally, I just started saying she, but then I was like, actually, I don't know if this person is a guy or a girl, right? So I just said they just to be safe, right? And that's what I explained. I said, that's because I wasn't sure how they would like to be referred to. So I used they to be safe. Remember, I don't know your friend or know anything about them. So if I said she and they prefer to be referred as he, I didn't want to risk offending them. Remember, I am referring to your friend's actions in relation to you. I don't know anything about their preferences. And that last sentence was to try to remind him, like, or the last two sentences rather, like, I'm trying to remind you, like, hey, don't forget what this is about. This was about you having toxic behavior on the internet. How are you now turning this into me being transphobic? Sorry, maybe I'm not being clear. Your sentence was aimed specifically at Ashlyn and her behavior enabling me, which is true. She was enabling you. You mentioned how she went into your comments, used the word she, but then stopped midway and changed it to they. Clearly, he didn't read what I just said at all. I literally just explained what I was saying. And so I said, yes, that's what I'm referring to my previous message. I was going to say she, but I wasn't actually sure if your friend wants to be referred to that way since I don't know them. So I just used the word they instead of just being safe. And apparently they were mad that I used quotes when I said she. Dude, if I'm talking about something that I would say, I would quote it so you know that would be something that I would say. Do you guys not know how quotations work? Like, talk about nitpicking here. But anyways, I think I understand better now. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't want to comment on the YouTube video or make a big thing about it. I asked some folks in my stream as well as Ashlyn for their perspectives. So at this point, I know that it was asked on the stream at some point, but I didn't know that it was happening right now live and he was showing the conversation live. What a scumbag thing to do. I specifically asked in the beginning because this one of my view count is the lowest. I also asked my viewers to not create any issues for you surrounding this. Well, they did, and I will show that your viewers were saying crazy shit about me. You were reading that shit, and you didn't try to remove it or moderate it at all. I know you don't have future plans to make content surrounding me or my friend, but if for some reason you find yourself in the presence of Ashlyn, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could treat her like the girl she is. Cool. I have no intention of mistreating anybody or anything like that anyways. All I was trying to say is that your friend is enabling your shitty behavior. And this is now all of a sudden turned into a conversation of, oh, you're being transphobic. Like, are you serious, dude? I'm glad that the she day scenario was done in good intentions, not malicious ones. That makes me feel a lot better about the situation. Thanks again for all the time you've given me. Hope you have a good day. So I said, yep, it was done with good intentions. I have no reason to make anything personal against you or anyone involved. Everything I have said has strictly involved interactions and how you have reacted to them, which is true. I truly wish you the best in terms of changing your behavior and being more positive. Thank you for apologizing, and there is no ill will on my end. Hope you have a great day too. And he hearted the message. So, even though I think that his line of questioning to me was ridiculous, even though I do think he's trying to detract from the issues, which is you're a mean person and you need to change that. And all of a sudden it turns into, yeah, but you're over here disrespecting my friend, which is just such bullshit, as you can see from everything I explained. Now I'm going to show you the part where he live streamed the whole fucking thing.
In the words of like everyone else, right? Not bootlick and no sheep, mentality. Like genuinely, can you let me know if I'm overreacting? I haven't told you what it is yet, but I'm about to tell you what I'm thinking or feeling. And can you just be like straight with me?
Notice how he hasn't even said what he is overreacting to, and you already got somebody in the chat right there that's saying, "Yep, you're definitely not overreacting."
Like, yo, I think you're overreacted on that one. I haven't told you what it is just yet. I just wanted to preface it with, can you let me know? Okay. If for some reason I am not overreacting, okay? Please do not do anything with the information. Do not create some sort of problem. Okay? I genuinely am just doing like a look in the mirror, if you will. Okay.
He tells him not to create a problem, but then after he says what is going on, he absolutely makes no effort to moderate his chat when they say crazy shit.
So we had the first video, yeah, that we watched. I was an asshole to the guy about it. He explained his use of piano music, right? Okay. There was a slight comment that was made about somebody had said, hey, and I'm saying somebody on purpose. I know who said it, but I'm just, somebody had said, hey, did you realize that at no point in the video did Deep Humor identify Ashlyn as a girl? Not once did he say she or her. He always referred to them as they. I'm aware of who said it. I was protecting your identity on purpose. I gave them benefit of the...
So now she has inserted herself into the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and point out that that is Kephree's girlfriend or wife. I don't know if they're married or whatever. She was apparently the one to say, yeah, Deep Humor for some reason isn't referring to Ashlyn as a girl, as a she or a her. Yeah, because as I explained, I don't fucking know who that is. I don't know who that is. I don't know if they're a guy or a girl or how they identify. I'm just saying they in the same way that you would say they about someone who you don't know. because you don't know anything about them. You don't know their fucking how they identify, their pronouns. Like, are you guys serious? What a nitpick. She saw a video where I exposed her boyfriend for being a piece of shit, and her first thought was, yeah, but he just kept calling somebody a they, even though he knew nothing about them. Talk about nitpicking, man. Like, I get that you got to support your partner, but what a delusional thing to say, really, man.
You know, I mean, maybe he just genuinely doesn't know Ashlyn, right? It's just a gamer
Yeah,
tag.
I don't. Why would I? Why would I? How would I know?
What
How
I'm
would I know that
struggling with
person?
now, because again, I'm not trying to be an asshole to people. I caught in the last video something that really, I don't want to say upset me because that's kind of a serious like wording for it, but it really didn't make me feel good. And it was specifically right here.
So he goes ahead and plays the part where I say she, they. What I was about to say she, but instead I said they.
Am I overreacting for being bothered by this?
Yes. What a crazy thing to be upset about. That I don't know how your friend identifies, so I say they to be safe, and somehow you're still upset.
I don't know if I'm allowed, like if I'm allowed to be bothered by it. But like to me, like I feel bothered by it, but I don't know what I'm supposed to like. How do I, like I don't know the correct way to say, hey, can you explain a little more why it bothers you? I could try, yeah, because again, I don't really know how to word it. If Ashlyn's a chick, she, her,
how would I know that?
Bitch, right? Like that's just it.
How in the world would I know that?
Like,
as I said, and as I used
no
an
problems.
example, sometimes there are people who have more feminine names that are guys. Sometimes there are women with more masculine names that are women. I just wanted to be safe. And somehow you guys are still angry about it because you guys, what I've figured out about him, his community, is they just love drama. That's what I figured out. And I know I'm feeding into it right now, and I know I shouldn't. But again, these are serious allegations. Like, if you thought I'm an asshole, or if you thought I'm bad at the game, and I think you're an asshole, and I think you're bad at the game, whatever, cool. That's all fine. But now you're getting into the transphobic route. When in reality, you don't know anything about me. I could have close trans people in my friends or family. You don't know shit about me. You're just assuming. And wait till you see what some of his idiot audience says. And I don't mind insulting them because you're about to see they're about to say some crazy shit about me.
Saying, you know, Kephrii, he, him. But the moment that Ashlyn,
yeah, so I refer to you as a he, him because I know what you look like, dude. You have more masculine features. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could be a girl named Brian, but I also have the benefit of knowing what you look like. I don't know what Ashlyn looks like. So the fact that you guys are dragging this on is crazy. So he just keeps replaying that part.
Started with
so basically, if I had edited out me saying about to say she and just said they, we wouldn't be having this conversation, basically. So because I didn't edit out that slight part, and I decided to leave it in the edit because I want to be as authentic as possible. Now, all of a sudden, this is a problem.
It's like you were going to say she, but then decided she's not a woman in your eyes.
Yeah, so what a fucking leap in logic. What a leap in logic. Go join the NBA, dude. You clearly have the hops for it. You go join the long jump. This guy is such a piece of shit. It is unreal. So because I said they instead of she, that means that I don't see your friend as a woman. Or the much more logical conclusion, I don't know your friend or anything about her, so I just said they to be safe. What the fuck? This is more exposing than you being toxic. This is more exposing than pretty much anything about you. This is a clear example of you manipulating your brain dead audience and weaponizing them against me. And trying to create this narrative that I'm transphobic.
That's
all because of what? I called you out for your shitty behavior. Yes, it is an assumption, a wild leap in logic. So he starts asking them for advice on how to confront me on it. Like, dude, like if you got a problem and we're both adults, just talk to me about it, which he did, but he didn't at all let me know that he was live streaming this whole conversation. Backstabbed me so hard. Everybody knows that if a conversation is private, you should keep it private unless somebody says something like incriminating, obviously. Like, we were having a discussion, you told me you had a problem with something, and despite the fact that I thought that what you said was ridiculous, and anybody with a brain would, because you're leaping in logic like crazy, I still calmly responded to you, and I was as cordial as I could have been. So the fact that you fucking live streamed this whole conversation and didn't tell me shit, you couldn't even live streaming is already scummy, but it would have been nice if you were like, yeah, by the way, I'm gonna be live streaming this. It seemed like you were trying to bait me to have a conversation with you on live, just in case I said something crazy, like you would have used it against me.
Really just berating to have someone start with the she and then cut it off and then switch to a they. Just invalidating your identity.
Such a fucking horseshit leaving logic. I don't know your friend at all. I don't know anything about them.
I really wouldn't have had as much of an issue if I didn't hear him start with the she.
Yeah, okay. So you're just nitpicking and creating bullshit. So his girlfriend over here says, not to like make this about me, but he also sent hate and harassment to me also. So I'm very much like, fuck this guy. She is referring to the fact that after I made my video about Kephrii, where I did not mention his girlfriend once, not even once, go check any of those videos, not even once did I mention her. She got some hate because there are bad actors on the internet, and Super TF also made a video about Kephrii. Flats also made a video where Kephrii was in it. So why the fuck are you just blaming all the harassment on me? You're clearly just upset that your boyfriend got some backlash, and because you guys are a very public couple, of course there are going to be some shitheads out there that send harassment your way too. But you exclusively blame me because you two are dramatic and you guys have like this weird hate boner for me where you're willing to accuse me of everything over and under the sun. Transphobia, harassment, everything. Like, you guys are fucking pathetic human beings. Like, I was truly done with the situation, but the way you guys conduct yourselves and the way you guys don't want to stop ever being in drama. No wonder why Kephrii keeps getting into a drama every single month, every single year. Like, because you guys just are sad human beings that just want to fight with everybody, man. If you guys can't get along with anybody, is everybody the problem or is it you guys? Reflect on yourselves.
The fact that he started with she tells me he knows that it's a woman.
No, it doesn't tell you shit. It was something that I was thinking because it was like, oh, she has more of a feminine name, but I don't know for sure. So I'm just going to say they just be safe. So he
I really
debates
don't
on
want
sending me a DM because he can't make decisions on
Just
his
don't need
own.
issues, bro.
And then he said, I don't want any issues. As you live stream our DM conversation, I don't want any issues, but I'm going to totally violate your privacy. By the way, I skipped over it, but there was a part where when she said, oh, like there was harassment sent to me, Kephrii literally says, for once he's objective, he's like, well, yeah, I mean, you're going to get harassment because we're a public couple and all that,
Everything that's happened involving this man has made it to YouTube. I have no reason to believe that a private conversation will stay private.
Yeah, and everything that's happened between us has ended up on your Twitch channel too. You literally live streamed you throwing the game between us. So you're acting like I made things public first when you live streamed yourself throwing our game. And then so his friend Ashlyn complains about me bringing her up and saying I was just being a friend and defending you. Dude, you literally went in my YouTube comments, blamed me for everything, and then said that he was just tilted. That's why he was acting like that. Of course I'm going to bring you up. You inserted yourself in this situation too. If you can give your opinion on what I did, why can't I give my opinion on what you did? If you can dish it, make sure you can be able to take it. What are you getting so sensitive for now? So you guys heard with your own ears that he said that he's going to go ahead and show this conversation because nothing between us is remained private, mainly because of you, because, you live streamed you throwing my game. But I can't find the specific part where he showed my DM because this live stream is so long. He went on about this for close to an hour. But you guys heard him say with his own mouth that he's going to go ahead and expose this conversation because nothing between us stays private anyways. Okay, so I found the part where he was leaking our messages. And keep in mind, if you look at his girl's comments, she is instigating this issue between us so hard. If he had honest intent, he could have talked to you rather than clout farmed off of you. Dude, you are literally live streaming our DM conversation and you're talking about having an honest conversation without content farming. Do you guys not at all think about the irony of the statements that you made? And she's over here like, kind of wish he'd reach out to her to say sorry, but I know that's asking for a lot. Sorry for what? Because I don't know your friend and I accidentally referred to them as they. You guys are so ridiculous, man.
Well, I don't think he necessarily owes her an apology because he didn't. So, for example, I'm going to leak one of his messages, and I hope he won't be upset by it.
There you go.
I think that this message does not make him look bad.
Yeah, it's not about whether it makes me look bad or not look bad. It's the fact that you are live streaming a DM conversation with me when it seemed like we were just two adults having a private conversation. And now you're live streaming it and you're about to show one of my DMs.
It's actually going to help both of our scenarios.
You mean the false scenario that you created?
He's acknowledging her gender. I was gonna say she. So he has no issue saying.
Yeah, yeah. And then his girl's over here.
Ashlyn's
Fair. I don't know everything being said. Exactly. So why are you giving your opinions about me as if you know me or as if you know the context of the conversation? You just said in chat yourself you don't even know everything that's being said.
a girl, right? So I think by him saying this, everything's okay. So he acknowledges, he understands.
And again, her boyfriend literally just said he acknowledges her gender. Everything is okay. The next message she says, why does he have to quote it? She's just looking for something to create an argument about. Something. And then even Kephrii, even though I still think he's ridiculous for creating this entire scenario to begin with, he defends me too.
I think it's all good. Well, because the conversation, we were using quotes throughout the conversation. That's why he used quotes. For example, I'll leak my message as well. I also used quotes. So that's why he responded in kind.
So again, what I've realized about the situation, and yes, I'm going to bring her up because she keeps asserting herself and trying to create issues with things that just aren't issues. What I've realized is she is kind of the one who is instigating him to start problems. She was the one who let him know, gave him this epiphany that actually Deep Humor didn't use Ashlyn's preferred pronouns. Yeah, because I don't fucking know Ashlyn, man. I don't know anything about Ashlyn. I didn't know if they were a guy or a girl or how they identify. And you, before you instigated Kephrii and made him like essentially want to talk about this on stream, you didn't even think for a second. Actually, maybe he just doesn't even know her. Right. And then while, me and Kephrii are talking it out in chat, he's still a piece of shit for absolutely leaking my DMs and live streaming this conversation. While he's trying to squash the beef, you clearly don't want to. You just want to keep instigating over here. Oh, yeah. Why did he have to quote it, though? He should just say sorry. IMO cop out. Yeah, I'm starting to really see the problem here. The problem is that you over here don't want this drama to end. You want this to keep going. Meanwhile, me, I made my last video. I said, I'm done with this topic. Best wishes to you, bro. Hopefully your apology is genuine. Best of luck in everything. Meanwhile, you over here in this chat, constantly fucking instigating. You love drama. Right? I realize this about you, FireX or whatever the hell your name is. You love drama and you want to be in drama, and you're actually dragging Kephrii into drama too. So do better as a human being, man. Stop saying shit about me when you don't know anything about me. So, final thoughts. This guy is such an unbelievably horrible scumbag to try to label me as a transphobe and to try to get his whole chat to suggest that I'm a transphobe. People in his chat saying, yeah, this guy is racist and homophobic in his private life, like that Ben idiot over there saying that shit. Do they attempt to moderate that in their chat at all, even though their chat is moving at a snail's pace? No, they don't, because they want that narrative. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted to create by focusing and nitpicking on this stupid little thing where I was actually saying they to try to be respectful because I don't know anything about their friend and I don't know if their friend identifies one way or another. So I try to be gender neutral. They still found a way to make an issue out of it. And these are the level of people that we're dealing with. Kephrii's apology is bullshit. And everybody told me that it was too. Everybody was like, dude, you don't understand. Kephrii's apologized so many times for so many different things. He never changes. He'll be okay for like a week or two and he'll go back to his shitty ways. Even though I did think his apology would be fake, I did want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially after our conversation, because like I said, even though I thought the whole thing he was bringing up with the pronouns thing was ridiculous in the context it was given, it was at least what I thought to be a private conversation. I thought that was his last little gripe he had with me. I was like, cool, right when I clarify this, we're done and good, and we can go back to living our normal lives. But no, this guy is, and his whole community is obsessed with arguments and drama. There are smart people there, like this Jay Carbia guy who says, this seems like a whole lot of nothing to me, but yeah, I'm probably in the minority. You are absolutely right. This is a whole lot of nothing. This is a bunch of bullshit. But of course, his community, this is how they are. And I would love to say this is the last time I'm going to speak about this, but I did say that last time, so I don't want to, make a statement that I can't follow through. And so I just want to say this to you, Kephrii. Stop talking about this. I'm telling you, stop talking about this Because if you continue to pull out bullshit allegations of me being transphobic, of me trying to purposely offend your friend, even though privately in a conversation or what I thought was private, I clarified for you that that's not the case and I wish you all the best, I am going to show the world who you really are. And you really don't want me to do that. You think you know what I'm going to bring up about you, but you don't. So please, I am telling you for the last time, stop talking about this shit. Stop accusing me of random bullshit. Don't be so salty because you got called out for being a terrible person. Don't be so salty that the whole YouTube community is against you. There's a reason why so many people made videos about you, bro. Take some accountability. It's been one day and your apology has already been bullshit because the next day you just immediately accuse me of being transphobic. And don't say, oh, I never said you were transphobic. Bro, you fucking heavily implied it 99%. Get the fuck away from me. I don't want to deal with your bullshit anymore. The only reason that I'm even replying to this right now is because you took it to the next level of trying to cancel me, dude. Like, come on, bro. I'm so tired of you. I've realized you're hopeless. You're just a dog shit human being, and your community is terrible. Honestly, get the hell away from me, man.